push the record button. So, just as a short introduction, you know, this session is called Education in Comparative Perspective, and I just want to give you a short, quick background on what comparative education actually means. I guess most of you are familiar with comparative tools, evaluation tools that assess the different types of quality of education internationally. For example, the PISA scores, the PIRL scores, the TIMSS scores, which all do some sort of comparative research, mainly on educational outcomes or specific aspects of education. Of course, this is only one aspect of what comparative education is about. This is probably one of the most well-known aspects of comparative education, but comparative education in itself is much more wide. In fact, comparative education is a broad field of study, some would even call it a discipline, that deals with the comparison of educational theory and educational practice, contemporary educational theory and contemporary educational practice in different countries. So it is a field that used to be quite big as a field of study. I think it is now somehow losing well, attraction, or there's less scholars involved, but up until to this day, comparative education is a field of study in educational sciences. And basically, comparative education, or comparative studies in education have 5 PowerPoint points. I see somebody is asking, is the PowerPoint shared after the event? We could share it. This is no problem. If I forget to share it with you, please send me an email afterwards. So Noah and Jubish, to continue my presentation, Noah and Jubish say that comparative education as a field of study actually has 5 purposes. So a first purpose is to describe educational systems, processes, or outcomes and compare these descriptions also. And I guess that is what we'll do today, of course, in a very quick and basic manner, but we'll try to describe the educational system of Russia and also compare that with the Flemish educational system, which you should have familiarized yourself with in preparation for this seminar. And a second purpose of comparative education is to assist in the development of educational institutions and practices. I guess that's not what we'll do today. I mean, we will not do an analysis to contribute to further development of educational institutions or practices, or maybe indirectly this could have an effect. A fifth purpose is to highlight the relationships between education and society, and I guess that was also what we'll see happening in the discussions of today, when you also discover how the Russian educational system, just like the Flemish educational system, does not exist in and on its own. It is, of course, embedded in a wider society and therefore also influenced by and influencing that society. A fourth purpose is to establish generalized statements about education that are valid in more than one country. So it's not only about formulating, identifying differences, it's also about identifying similarities across countries, and then, and thus identifying general observations about education across countries. Maybe you will also find some similarities between the Flemish educational system and the Russian educational system today. And then the fifth purpose is to help the current generation understand the education systems with reference to the past. So it is about contemporary issues in theory and practice, but it does have a relationship also with how these contemporary issues in theory and practice are emerging from the past. So comparative education in that way also has educational perspective, in that it wants to give an insight into how how educational systems evolve throughout time. Okay, as for the program of today, so what we'll do is I'll first give you an introduction, which I'm doing now, explaining a bit what the focus is of this seminar and this seminar series. And probably I'll finish in a few minutes. And then we will go on to a country presentation where Natalia will introduce to you the Russian educational system. That will take about 55 minutes. We'll see how long it goes. Natalia, if it takes longer or less time, no problem. Then we'll have a 10 minutes break where you'll have time to go for a coffee or grab a sandwich, and then we come back to have in public with a bigger group a round of questions and debate in which we already try to compare the Russian educational system with the Flemish educational system. The focus is on comparison, but I can imagine that before we can start with comparisons, we will also need to ask more questions for clarifications to Natalia to really understand, what is this Russian educational system about. That will take another 14 minutes, and then we'll have again a 10 minutes break, and then we'll go into group work, where I will put you into small breakout rooms, and you will be invited to identify, together with the other students in your breakout room, 3 comparative basic insights. So you'll be invited to identify differences and similarities between the Flemish and the Russian educational system, but also not only identifying these differences and similarities, but also trying to find explanations for it, illustrate it, etc. I will give you the clear instruction when we are onto that, when we start with that group work. We'll do that for 30 minutes. You'll also be invited at the end of that group work session to post your comparative insights into the chat box of the Collaborate environment, and then we will take, with the bigger group again, some time to discuss some of these comparative insights. And then we will end the session. I wonder, is this clear for everybody for now? Are there any questions? If so, raise your hand. Okay, if it's clear, then I will happily give the floor to Natalia. She will introduce herself. But I just wanted to say that we're very happy that she's here, that she's willing to take up this challenge of presenting in 55 minutes the educational system of Russia. And yeah, Natalia, if you're available.
Thank you, Mika. I hope you can hear me. If the sound is too loud or too soft, just let me know. I will try to adjust because I'm not sure. With the new microphone, I'm not sure if the sound is okay. Can you hear okay? Is that not too loud, not cracking your ears? No?
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you, guys. All right, then I will start sharing the PowerPoint. I guess that will help. Okay, so I hope you can see the first slide. Yeah. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I will be speaking today about the system of education in Russia, right? So first of all, goedenavond allemaal. Mijn Nederlands is nog niet perfect, maar dus then I switch to English and from this point on, yeah. But nevertheless, yeah, I do understand a lot, and yeah, so feel free to ask questions. Maybe if it's too difficult in English, though I'm sure your English is perfect. So feel free to ask questions in both languages. All right, so first, very shortly about myself. Yeah, I'm a unique species in terms of I was born in Siberia in Russia. And my education pathway covers basically 2 countries. I started my kindergarten in the USSR. Then my elementary school was in the Soviet Union, and my secondary school, yeah, the senior years were already in Russia. And then I graduated school also in the United States, but that's a different story. We focus on Russia today. And I also am a graduate of a teacher's training university in Russia. So I have a degree, a master degree in modern languages, yeah, something like moderne talen, I think, in Belgium. And well, I ended up in Belgium in 2018. And in 2020, I graduated KU Leuven with a master degree in educational studies. So I kind of know what you're doing there. So I think we are on the same page. And now I work for 2 years at HDC, Heilige Driewiligheid College. Yeah, that's in the Oudemarkt. Yeah. So I teach English there. So yeah, I really enjoy that. I'm really proud of my students who speak perfect English. So that's why I'm sure that you understand English without any troubles. I welcome you to shoot any questions anytime. You can use the chat, or better, even just yell out. And there are no forbidden topics. When I was invited to do this presentation, when was that? I think in autumn. Yeah. So yeah, I did it with pleasure. Yeah, I agreed immediately. However, once the war started in February, I was a bit concerned if that would happen or not, because I understand, yeah, there are some awkward moments. But I welcome you to ask any questions. I welcome you to, whatever you have to ask, feel free. Yeah, there are no forbidden topics or nothing that I'm not reluctant to discuss or to talk to you about. Okay, and also, yeah, if Mika will show this PowerPoint with you, there is an email, and if you need some kind of a background information or whatever questions you might have, feel free to send your questions to me. Okay. All right, so so far so good. Let's begin then. I would like to start with a joke. Yeah. There was, yeah, that's a good way to start, I believe. There was a famous Russian scholar in the beginning of the 20th century who was once asked by a Russian mother, apparently, about the time which was the best to start the education of her child. So she asked him, when should I start my child's education? And he answered her, he asked back, how old is your child? And she said, oh, no, I have none, but I'm 6 months pregnant. And his answer was very surprising. He said, my dear, you are 6 months late, unfortunately. Though the authorship is not proved, but this is a commonly well-known joke, I mean, in Russia. So maybe it will give you the idea of how Russians approach education. Yeah, so education is super important. The earlier, the better. Yeah, and I will try to prove it to you, or to show some, I will show you some videos, and yeah, maybe you will get the idea about that as well. Well, yeah, there is a list of questions that you see in this slide. And by the end of the presentation, I believe you will know the answers to all of these questions. But if you are eager to interact, if you can try to make a crazy guess, maybe answer one of these questions or some of these questions, maybe you already know some information about education in the Russian Federation. I don't know about the age when the students start their education, or what percentage of an adult population is literate, or anything. So feel free to answer. Yeah, difficult questions, I understand, but maybe somebody wants to have a shot. No idea, Katrin. Yeah, I know. It's difficult. If I would be asked this question about Belgium 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't be able to answer. All right, then I won't torture you, and we go on to save time, and I would like really to share some videos with you. Okay, so let's go on. So some general facts about education in Russia. First of all, most educational institutes are state-run, However, the emergence of compulsory private education institutes has increased in recent years. The Ministry of Education and Science is the only federal body in Russia that is responsible for implementing state policy and legal regulations at all levels of education and all kinds of institutions. The quality of education is monitored by the Federal Service for Supervision and Education and Science. They are responsible for offering accreditation, the formal recognition of status of an educational establishment, and for licensing of educational facilities, staff, and materials. The design of the Russian education system is as follows. So preschool education or kindergarten, general education, and professional education. General education starts compulsory education and lasts for 9 years of schooling. Compulsory education includes primary and secondary education. About 99.6% of population is literate for both genders, and the amounts of students, the number of students enrolled for the current year in general education is 17 million. And in higher education is for 4 million to 200,000 students. Yeah, Russia is a big country. The population is about 140 million. So yeah, that's why the figures are so high. However, Russia participates in PISA assessment as well, at least that was in 2018. Russia scores just below OECD average. And if you see on the right picture, yeah, the PISA worldwide ranking, Russia colored yellowish, orangish, yeah, color. This is the average digits for math, science, and reading, just like United States or Australia. So it's among the average results for worldwide, unlike some European countries or Canada or China, which score higher. Okay. Design of the education system in Russia. I made some kind of a scheme for you, and we will go layer per layer. Well, you can see the preschool education or kindergarten, general education, and professional education. The general education starts compulsory education, yeah, and it lasts 9 years, as I have already mentioned, and it includes primary and secondary education. And there are state exams at several levels. You can see they are marked red as exams. These are state exams. And higher education entry, you can enter higher education after completion of secondary and vocational education only. And now we'll go layer per layer for more details. And we start with a preschool education. Yeah, if you remember the joke in the very beginning, interestingly, that in Russia, the woman gets a maternity leave with the 40% of salary preserved till the child is 1.5 years old, yeah, as well as her job position is secured as well. And she can basically keep this maternity leave till the child is 3 years old, but since last year this is not reimbursed. Yeah, they don't get any salary if your child is 1.5 years old till 3 years old. You can stay at home and yeah, take care of the baby, but you won't get any kind of payments. But your job position is secured, which is good. At the age of 1.5 till the age of 6, children go to kindergarten. There are 2 types of kindergartens. There are state kindergartens with a minimal fee and private kindergartens, which are normally rather costly. There are also early education centers, which are also rather expensive. These are for those mothers who opt to stay with their children until they join the elementary school. Okay, so primary education, it's compulsory. Students start school at around 6 or 7 years of age, and 50% attend a preschool year before even entering a primary school. So when a school child joins the school, normally he can read, he can count till 10, for example, and he has basic knowledge of arts, yeah, just very, very basic, of course. And nearly all students attend state schools. However, private schools educate about 1% of population. Students in primary education attend school 5 days a week from September to June for 4 years. In general, all subjects in primary school are taught by one teacher who covers grades 1 through 4. Subjects coded this grade level include the Russian language, literature, maths, foreign language, science, and social studies, as well as some subjects like arts, music, physical education. They are also introduced. I would like to try to show you a video. It's in English, and you will have an idea what the 1st of September, the first day of school, looks like in Russia. I hope I will make it. I have to stop sharing my PowerPoint and try to share the video. So let's hope it works. So let me know if for some reason, just a second. If for some reason you won't be able to see that or something like that. Can you see the video, please? Can somebody let me know?
No. Natalia, we now see a screen with all your PDFs on it. I think you need to open the video. And then go again to, yeah, we saw a video.
Just a second, I will try again. Normally it should be open. That's a bit weird. Okay, once again. Okay, yeah, now I believe you will be able to see that. Can you see the video?
Yes.
Yes, all right, so hopefully it works now. Okay, let's see. So it's in English, you will be able to understand that.
There's no sound.
Sorry about that. Let's try then.
Still no sound. Natalia, when you pushed for share screen, normally you have to click on something that says that you want to also share audio. Now your microphone is switched off. Sorry.
Okay, now my mic is on, I believe, yeah? So let's try once again. Yes. The video is not open then. Okay. Okay, so let me know if the sound works now. Put it a bit higher.
In fact, Russia has surpassed the 1 million case mark.
Can you hear anything? Okay, good, good, good. All right, so I will begin then from the beginning. Thank you very much. Okay.
The sounds of the return to school in Russia. Most primary and middle school students in that country are back in the classroom for the first time since everything shut down in March. Going ahead with reopening, despite the fact Russia has surpassed the 1 million case mark. So our Moscow correspondent is back at his post. First time we're talking to Chris Brown since everything shut down in March, and it's great to see you back there in Moscow, Chris. Thanks very much for being with us this morning. Tell us more about back to school Russia style.
Well, I think it probably looked an awful lot like what it did before the kids, as you say, left in March and April. There's a tradition here to celebrate the first day of school by bringing flowers for your teacher and to celebrate the education system. It's called Knowledge Day, and by and large at schools all across Russia, Knowledge Day ceremonies went ahead, although often they were on a much smaller scale. Now, we visited a school outside of the city in Balashika. We saw lots of cute kids, lots of excited parents, and a couple of things we thought were really quite interesting. The school used a high-tech temperature detector to make sure that no one was coming inside who had a fever. There was a monitor and cameras at the front, and security staff could see it. So they know exactly who's coming in and what their health is like. They had also installed lots of hand washing areas as well that were new from last year. But notably, in the classrooms themselves, desks were not separated. The class sizes were the same, and we couldn't see any evidence of any physical separation between students. We did talk to English teacher Elena Arkhipova about this.
It's quite uncomfortable for a teacher to wear a mask, I think so, and for the students. All the teachers have been tested. We don't have that disease, and we hope that students also don't have disease either.
Okay, so that was a short video for you on the 1st of September in Russia. That's the first school day. And maybe you have noticed the differences, yeah, how the children are behaving, how the parents are behaving, what children bring to school. Yeah, that's totally different from how the first days of school look in Belgium, for example. And also, yeah, you saw the attitude that was the corona, after the corona year, I think, yeah, 2019, yeah. So you see the attitudes of teachers and, well, students, parents, yeah, that's totally different. So did you have a chance to see the video and to hear everything okay? Can I ask somebody to respond, please?
Yes, absolutely. There's
Right.
one question, sorry, of somebody in the chat who says, I assume this is a private school.
No, this is a public school. However, in Russia, public schools are not so public, let's put it like that. So if you saw, the kids are with the flowers, the kids are with candies, and as a rule, there are special funds where parents have to donate money. So that's why, no, this is a normal public school, though. Even in a public school, you have to pay some money. Yeah, if you will have further questions, I can elaborate on that. Okay. So yeah, so you have seen the video. Maybe you can guess how are these pictures related to what you have seen. So September 1, what does that mean for Russian education? Who can try to answer? What happens on the 1st of September? Yeah, thank you. No, that's a very typical school. Yeah, exactly, Kevin. Thank you guys. Femke, please. Yeah. So that's the first day of school. All Russia starts school on the 1st of September. Yeah, doesn't matter which part of Russia, which city, which village, everybody starts on the 1st of September. Then you see here numbers, digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What do you think those are? What are these digits? Five degrees of primary. No, there are 4 years of primary education. No, that's a bit difficult. Yeah, the first week. No, 5 hours per day. Good guesses, guys. No, this is the grading system in Russia. So 5 is the top grade that you can get, so it's the best grade, while 1 is the worst grade that you can get. Though I have never witnessed a student who receives 1s. Yeah, so basically 2, 3, 4, and 5 are the workable grades for the Russian Federation. So if you are an excellent student, you have all 5s. Yeah, if you're a failure, then that's 2. Yeah, something like that. So these are the grades. Flowers, candies, sometimes the envelopes with money. How do you think? Yeah, exactly, gifts for the teacher, and that is done on a regular basis, not only for the 1st of September. Students and parents bring those for, I don't know, Mother's Day, the Christmas Day, or any kind of a public holiday. The teacher is rewarded, and maybe at the end you will understand why it happens. Yeah, there is a feasible explanation. Then the bottom row, you see shoes and the bag. Yeah, that's like, what is that? Sport is important, Sarah. Yeah, it is, but there is a different explanation. Think about Russia being a very cold country. Think about winters when there is plenty of snow in the streets. Yeah, exactly. Well, no. That doesn't start every day with a gym. But imagine that, I don't know, 500 students enter the school and they wear winter shoes that are full of snow. And they go to classroom and they sit and yeah, exactly. They have to choose, they have to, they have to change, they have to have a substitute pair of shoes because they have to change shoes entering the school. Otherwise, the whole school would be flooded with the wet snow or dirt or dust. Yeah, so students have to bring an extra pair of shoes to school. Exactly. Then, yeah, here I won't even ask. That's a uniform. It's not compulsory. It's not obligatory. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Yeah, but some schools suggest the uniform for elementary school children. But from the 5th year of school, they don't have to wear any uniform. But yeah, it's just to. In the Soviet times, all school children had to wear uniform. Now, not. And this is the last picture shows kids with books, and this is a bit different than in Belgium. Can you guess why did I put this picture here? So the kids with books. What does it mean? What does this picture represent? School library. Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, all schools have libraries, but the difference with Belgium would be that in Belgium, children have to buy books mostly. Yeah, I mean the per academic year. In Russia, normally they give the books for free, only if there are some worksheets or the books where you really need to write, then you have to buy books. But as a rule, the books are given for free. Yeah, they stay in school. That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Sophie. Yeah, I don't know about France, but I believe that is very possible. Okay, so this is the primary education. Now we go to the secondary education. So you see in red, that's the secondary education part. So secondary education is the second level of compulsory education, and it is divided into 2 cycles, lower and upper. The lower tier is for grades 5 through 9. Upon successful completion of exam, the students receive a certificate of an incomplete secondary education. And the curriculum for this grade level builds on the subjects taught in primary education. So students can also choose for a few electives they wish to take. With this certificate, students can enter the upper level of secondary education. The upper level is for students grades 10 and 11. Students can take an academic or vocational track. In vocational track, they are working towards a certificate of vocational secondary education. This allows students to continue on a vocational track in higher education as well. In the academic track, the students are offered academically oriented programs, and these students hope to receive a certificate of complete secondary education, which allows them to continue to all kinds of higher education. And in order to obtain this certificate, the students have to take a state exam at 2 compulsory subjects, namely Russian and maths, and minimum 1 subject of their choice. There is an interesting fact about professional education. Yeah? So the goal of professional education is the continuous development of an individual till he or she acquires a professional qualification and the preparation of graduates to exercise some kind of a profession. It consists of a vocational education of non-university level, university level, and postgraduate higher education. Non-university level institutions offer programs leading to middle professional qualifications. For example, preschool and elementary school teachers. Presently, there are about 2,800 state non-university level institutions, and the programs are coordinated with the university level programs in the same field of study. Non-university education lasts 2 to 3 years for those who have completed secondary general education, and 3 to 4 years for those who completed basic general education. Now, I would love to share with you a video about such kind of a professional education, though it's a very special type of professional education. Maybe you have heard or you know that Russia is famous for its ballet. Yeah, something like Hall. Yeah, that's correct, Mickey. Yeah. Ballet, yeah, the students who follow this path, they have to go to special vocational schools where they study ballet, and also they study the subjects of the compulsory general path, academic path. I would like to show you how it works. I have to warn you that some of the video might be a bit sensitive, but I hope you can take it. So you will again understand maybe a bit deeper how Russians approach education. So, okay, the second try, I will try to share another video. This is a bit longer, but I think you will like it. Just a moment, I will have to open that first. Okay, so let me try to share it and let me know once you can hear and see the picture and hear the sound, most importantly. Yeah, I will give it a try. Let me know if it works. Can you hear? It works. Fine. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's in English. So partially, I think you will understand it all. Enjoy.
The Academy doesn't just turn out highly trained professional dancers. It also has to educate its 300 or so students. English language classes are very important. However, the grammar proves to be a daily challenge for the younger students. The dance classes use up a lot of their energy. Music and dance is in evidence everywhere. Ballet is central to the Academy. However, the teachers also prepare their students for the outside world.
Okay, back to the PowerPoint. All right, so what you have seen, yeah, is the typical example of a vocational education for children who want to, who have chosen ballet to be their future profession. You saw that there is rather a strict exam to enter this school, rather cruel to some extent, yeah, so they check the flexibility, they check the abilities to hear the music, to move, yeah, so that's the entrance exam basically to join such kind of vocational education, and the kids stay with this academy, within the walls of the academy. That's like a boarding school. They live there, they study there, and they train a lot on a daily work basis. You saw the girls sleeping on the floor. So this is a very typical approach to this kind of education, this kind of profession in Russia. So people put a lot of efforts and a lot of themselves into exercising a profession. All right. Do you have any questions so far? Okay, I take it as no, and then we go to the university level education. So university level education offers programs leading to university degrees. These institutions are defined by their aim in developing education, science, and culture through applied research and training programs. These are expected to be leaders in research and methodology. Scientific research institutes and academies are also parts of the university system. Presently, there are about 500 state and 200 non-state universities in Russia. Among the best is the Russian State University named after Lomonosov, but it's somewhere in one, if you take the rating, if I'm not mistaken, it's 120th place in the world rating or something. And St. Petersburg State University is a bit lower in rating as well. Universities offer degrees and diplomas. There is an associate degree for 2 years of study, bachelor degree for 4 years of study, specialist degree 5 years of study, and master degree for 2 additional years of study. Associate degree is an incomplete higher education, while bachelor degree covers all disciplines except medicine and is more academic than a professional level degree. And in order to receive a diploma, a student must create and defend a thesis as a part of a state attestation. Specialist degree opens access to professional practice and are prerequisite for doctoral studies. It is available for all studies, for all fields, and students must also create a thesis and pass final state exam to receive the diploma. Master's degree are more focused around research activities. Only those who got minimum a bachelor diploma can proceed to master's. Doctoral programs include 2 levels, a candidate of sciences and a doctor of sciences. Candidates of sciences must have additional 3 years of studies after receiving a master's or a specialist degree. And in order to become a doctor of sciences, a student must study an additional 5 to 15 years, in addition to the 3 years of a candidate's studies. those seeking a doctoral degree must go through a competitive process and present a public defense of an original dissertation or body of work. I would like to show you one more video. Other exams before primary, before upper. Oops, wait, I lost the question. Just a second. I have to see the chat. Before primary, before upper. Before primary, no, to enter a primary school, you don't have an exam as a rule. However, I think there is some kind of a streaming and skimming. Yeah, some schools that have a good reputation might ask for an entrance exam, though it is rather illegal. Not rather, but literally it is illegal. And before upper secondary, there is a state exam that either allows you to join the upper secondary or to go to a vocational study, depends on the results. The age of 16, you can go to the job market. No, there is no obligatory age. Thank you. There is no, Peter, for the question. There is no obligatory age to go to school, like in Belgium. I know that you have to go to school till you are 18. In Russia, no, but you're obliged to have the attestat, the certificate of incomplete secondary education. So you must have 9 years altogether of secondary education. You don't have to, you're not obliged to go to the last 2 years. That's the academic track. You can either join the job market. You're allowed to work from the age of 14, I believe, as a teenager, and then full-time from the age of 18. Normally, when you graduate incomplete secondary education, so the 9 years of school, you're 16, 15, 16. So basically, you either go work or take a vocational course of 3-4 years, and then you join the job market, or yeah, basically some students just take some courses of, I don't know, being a hairdresser or being a what is now popular, I don't know, the nail technician. Yeah, and they at the age of 16 they can already start working part-time, and the age of 18 they start working full-time. So, but there is no, yeah, there is no obligatory age to go to school. All right, so I will try to show one more video for you. This is a totally different kind of video. This is mostly an advertisement of a medical school. Yeah, maybe you will see some differences or similarities with Belgium. Okay.
We invite you to Russia, to our...
Just a moment, guys, I'm a bit slow. Okay. All right, I hope it works.
Medical training camp. We invite you to Russia, to our medical training camp. You can choose between programs in general medicine, dentistry, or pharmacy, as well as clinical residency and postgraduate programs. If you want to study in English or French, you can enter directly into the first year of your chosen program. If you are planning to study in Russian, you can complete a foundation course where you will study Russian and specialized medical disciplines, chemistry and biology. After successful completion of this one-year course, you will be ready to study in Russian in a group with Russian students. Theoretical knowledge in our university always goes hand in hand with practice. During your classes, you can work with real patients and learn from highly qualified doctors. Here, you can also find medical training mannequins that help you perfect your superhero skills. You will be practicing on the newest, unique equipment, which will allow you to model situations in the most realistic way, from resuscitation to childbirth.
Okay, so that was certainly an advertisement. That was in fact a commercial of the medical school in the south of Russia. Not the best one, let's put it like that. However, yeah, as you see, they are always attracting foreign students. At least that's how it worked before the war situation with Ukraine. So nowadays, I'm not sure if there are any students from abroad will be willing to join education in Russia, though, yeah, I don't know the current state of affairs in Russia in terms of higher education. Well, so I would like to switch to teachers' education briefly. In Russia, there are no teachers without a degree. If you want to be an elementary school teacher, you have to have a vocational education degree. So that's a training college from 2 to 4 years of studies. If you want to work in a secondary education or in a vocational or in a higher education, then you definitely need a higher education degree. There are special pedagogical or teachers training universities, and you have to study there for minimum 4 years. That's a bachelor degree, or 5 years for a specialist degree. Currently, there are 180 pedagogical teachers training universities, state funded. They are only state funded, nobody wants to pay to be a teacher. And the key subjects are methodology, pedagogy, sociology, and psychology, yeah, apart from the specialized disciplines that you opt for, that you choose. Yeah, I'm almost done. Yeah, there was this guy who is considered to be the founding father of pedagogical science in Russia, the one that I opened the presentation with. His name was Anton Makarenko. He was a Ukrainian and Soviet educator, and he was the most influential theorist in the Soviet Union. So he introduced the concept of productive labor. He was very effective right after the war, when many children lost their families, they were orphans, and he opened a very productive, very quality orphanages with education and labor. And he is also well known for his pedagogical poem, The Book. And in 1988, UNESCO ranked him as one of the 4 educators, along with Dewey, Montessori, and George Kirchensteiner, sorry if I mispronounced the name, who determined the world's pedagogical thinking of the 20th century. So interesting to know, maybe. There are also other people who are at the origins of pedagogical science in Russia. Well, basically, they all are originated from the Soviet times, or a bit sooner. So the first guy, Ushinsky, he's the founder of scientific pedagogy. Tsiolkovsky, that's the guy who pioneered astronautic theory. Yes, he's a rocket scientist. Stanislavski is the guy who developed a system of actor training and rehearsal techniques. So the theater, maybe you have heard of Stanislavski technique. This lady, Krupskaya, she was the founder of libraries, and she was in fact the wife of Mr. Lenin. Maybe you have heard of this guy. Makarenko you have already seen. And this lady is the founder of the Russian ballet. Yeah? So these are the founders of Soviet and Russian pedagogical system science. However, teachers' job realities are not so bright in Russia. So there are different categories of teachers. There are upbringers and speech therapists. They work in the kindergartens as a rule. There are teachers who work for school, and also lecturers, professors who work for higher education. A full-time job for a teacher in Russia is 36 hours a week. An official monthly salary is from 250 euro to 600 euro. So maybe that can explain you why students and parents bring flowers, candies, whatever they can to support the teacher, because that's a very low salary. In Russia, the teachers are mostly females, 82% in all levels of education. Again, the low salary, the average salary in Russia. Thank you, Julie, for your question. The average salary, at least before the war, the average salary was about 600 euro per month. This is the very average salary. It depends very much on the region and on the profession. Yeah, so of course, people in the banking sector or in the law sector or in the oil or gas sector, they might earn. No, I will answer your question, Mikia. They will earn up to sometimes 10,000 euro a month. Yeah, so the gap is very big. However, to survive in Russia, they calculated the survival level. That would be about 300 euro a month per person. So you see, some teachers don't even earn a survival level. That's very sad. That's why many teachers seek for additional sources of income. For example, private tutoring is very common in Russia, extra hours in private educational establishments, and whatever else they can earn from, they try to earn from that. So that's a sad story. Currently, yeah, my last slide for you, and then feel free to ask questions or to take a break. Currently, there are new introductions into the new reforms in education from the 1st of September 2022, and they are really current. I looked them up in March, I think even beginning of April. I attended this data. Before the war, the policy was different. Yeah. Why do people become teachers? Helene, yes, I will answer your question first, and then I will go to the policy questions. In Russia, just like in Belgium, they say that you become a teacher not because you want to earn money, but because you have a call for that, because that's what you want to do. You love children, or this is while being a student yourself, you thought that this is what you want to do all your life. So that would be the reason. Yeah, there is another mean and bad joke. They say that those who cannot do anything themselves, they teach. So that's a bad joke. I'm sorry about that. But no, naturally, this is really your life call. You really want to be useful to the society. You really want to do something good. That's the same problem with doctors and nurses in Russia. They also are very much underpaid. So their salaries are approximately the same as for teachers. So that is true for all people who work for the state. Their salaries are super low. And yeah, so they seek for other sources of income, because that's very difficult to survive at this level of earnings. And there is more to come because of the war. Yeah, so because of one, sorry to say, stupid man who decided that he can solve who can attack other countries. So what is happening? Yeah, so first of all, the good stuff, and then I will tell you more about the realistic facts. So first of all, yeah, from the 1st of September, they still keep the priority for joining a school. In Russia, you can also choose a school to join. However, there is a territorial binding. So if you live near this school, most probably you should join this particular school. Or if your elder brother or sister is already studying in this institution, then you will have a priority in joining this particular school. What else? There is a new update on the literature, on the books that are used in schools. Now, from the next September, there will be an obligatory examination of every single book or every single manual, and it will be valid for a 5-year period. And the experts who issue the results will bear personal responsibility. Why they are doing that? Because they are trying to change some Let's put it, content of education. I have read, again, that's not official, however, I have read that they want to abolish teaching world history, but they will focus only on the history of Russia. They want to, well, yeah, maybe again, just the propaganda issues, but yeah, some facts would be changed in the books to fit mainstream, the governmental mainstream of thinking. What else? Yeah, take a look at the fourth one. It's very interesting. In order to protect students from the influence of anti-Russian propaganda and inciting social, racial, and national hatred, there is a new version of law of education in the Russian Federation, which allows only state structures to engage in educational activities. So it means that most probably the private schools will be banned, as well as any kind of initiative from teachers or from I don't know, guest lecturers will be also banned. On the bright side, the children with disabilities can finally study in general education classes, which was not true before. However, no more than 3 students with disabilities can be in one class. Yeah, there are also some updates in the expected learning outcomes for each subject, and also they suggest distance learning options. Yeah, that was a good practice with Corona. And also they introduce innovative technologies in schools now, like 3D printers, virtual reality glasses, interactive panels, and robotic kits. So I don't know if, yeah, these are still the policy issues, but I don't know how these might be implemented due to the general situation and due to that many companies and producers basically left Russia for the obvious reasons. So to me, the perspectives of education in Russia do not look very promising now, but yeah, let's hope for the best. So I believe I'm done. So if you have any questions, feel free about anything at all, about the educational system or whatever you want to ask.